Welcome to a world where glamour and tragedy meet. Behind the smiling faces and the bright lights of the red carpet, some of the most heartbreaking stories are hidden. Some of the famous people we admire carry a heavy burden of sorrow, a loss that the spotlight doesn't show. Today we take you on an emotional journey through the lives of celebrities who have faced not just fame, but also the unimaginable loss of a parent due to murder. This is the story of famous people whose parents were murdered. Greg Allman was a founding member of the Allman Brothers Band, known for pioneering Southern rock with hits like Ramblin' Man and Midnight Rider. His musical journey began in tragedy when, on December 26, 1949, his father, Willis Turner Allman, was murdered by a hitchhiker near Norfolk, Virginia. This event profoundly impacted Greg and his brother Dwayne's lives and careers. Greg Allman himself passed away on May 27, 2017, from complications related to liver cancer. He was 69 years old and left behind a legacy of influential music and heartfelt performances. In 1958, when James Ellroy was 10 years old, his mother, Geneva Jean Ellroy, was brutally murdered. Her body was found by a roadside in El Monte, California, having been strangled. The murder deeply affected Ellroy and remained unsolved, influencing much of his later work as a crime fiction writer. Ellroy's life took a dark turn after his mother's death, involving substance abuse and minor criminal activities. He eventually turned his life around, becoming a successful author known for his gritty crime novels like The Black Dahlia and L.A. Confidential. In his memoir, My Dark Places, Ellroy revisits his mother's murder, attempting to uncover the truth behind the unsolved case. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, a moment that shocked the world and marked a turning point in American history. He was shot while riding in a motorcade through Dealey Plaza, an event that left an indelible mark on the nation and his young family. Decades later, on July 16, 1999, John F. Kennedy Jr. tragically died in a plane crash. John Jr., his wife Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and her sister Lauren Bessette were flying to Martha's Vineyard when their plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. The crash was attributed to Kennedy's spatial disorientation while flying at night, compounded by his limited experience and lack of an instrument rating. All three passengers perished in the accident. Again, a tragedy struck the Kennedy family. Michael Kennedy's father, Robert F. Kennedy, was assassinated on June 5, 1968. Robert, a U.S. Senator and former Attorney General, was campaigning for the Democratic presidential nomination.
I do not run for the presidency merely to oppose any man.
When he was shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles by Sirhan Sirhan. The shooting occurred just after midnight, and Robert Kennedy succumbed to his injuries the following day. Michael Kennedy, born in 1958, was only 10 years old at the time. The assassination profoundly impacted the Kennedy family and the nation, marking another sorrowful chapter in their history. Tragically, Michael Kennedy himself died in a skiing accident on December 31, 1997, while playing football on skis in Aspen, Colorado. This incident added to the long list of misfortunes that have plagued the Kennedy family. Melvin Mora, a former Major League Baseball player known for his time with the Baltimore Orioles, endured a traumatic event in his childhood. In 1979, when Mora was only 6 years old, he witnessed his father being shot and killed in front of him in Venezuela. The shooting was a case of mistaken identity, leaving a profound impact on Mora's life. Patrick Duffy, known for his role as Bobby Ewing on the popular TV show Dallas, experienced a tragic event in 1986. His parents, Terrence and Marie Duffy, were murdered on November 18, 1986, during a robbery at the bar they owned in Boulder, Montana. Two teenagers, Sean A. Wentz and Kenneth A. Miller, had been kicked out of the bar earlier that evening. They returned later and shot both of Duffy's parents. The brutal event had a profound impact on Duffy, who credits his Buddhist faith with helping him cope with the loss. The two perpetrators were convicted and sentenced to long prison terms, though one was later paroled. Charlize Theron, the Oscar-winning actress, has often spoken about a traumatic event from her childhood. In June 1991, when Charlize was 15, her father, Charles Theron, came home very drunk and threatened her and her mother, Gerda, with a gun. He fired 3 shots through a closed door where Charlize and her mother were hiding, but luckily the bullets did not hit them. To protect herself and Charlize, Gerda shot and killed Charles. The authorities did not charge Gerda because it was clear she acted in self-defense. Charlize described her father as a very sick man who was an alcoholic all his life, making their family life unpredictable and dangerous. This event had a lasting impact on her, but she shares her story to help others who experience domestic violence. Through her Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project, she advocates for awareness and support for victims of domestic violence. Michael Jordan, often regarded as the greatest NBA basketball player of all time, experienced immense personal tragedy in 1993. On July 23rd of that year, his father, James Jordan Sr., was brutally murdered. James was resting in his car at a highway rest stop in North Carolina when 2 teenagers, Daniel Green and Larry DeMary, decided to rob him. During the robbery, James was fatally shot. His body was later found in a swamp in South Carolina, identified through dental records after being cremated as a John Doe. This devastating event profoundly affected Michael Jordan, leading to his temporary retirement from basketball to pursue baseball, as he needed a break to process the loss of his father, who had been a significant influence and support in his life. In October 2008, a tragic event struck Jennifer Hudson's family.
I don't understand what you're saying. You gotta stop screaming.
Somebody killed my mother. Somebody killed my mother, please.
Somebody did what?
Somebody killed my mother.
On October 24th, her mother, Darnell Donnerson, and brother, Jason Hudson, were found shot to death in their Chicago home. Hudson's 7-year-old nephew, Julian King, was reported missing, triggering an Amber Alert. Sadly, Julian's body was discovered 3 days later in the back of an SUV, having also been shot multiple times. The culprit was identified as William Balfour, the estranged husband of Hudson's sister, Julia. Balfour had a history of violence and had previously threatened the Hudson family. In 2012, he was convicted of the murders and sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Jennifer Hudson, who attended every day of the trial, has since focused on healing and advocating for violence prevention. She credits the birth of her son in 2009 with helping her find a reason to move forward despite the immense loss. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. The stories of these celebrities remind us that behind the glamour, there is often deep personal pain. If this video touched you, please consider liking and subscribing for more thoughtful content. Your support helps us share more stories that matter. Until next time, take care and be kind to one another.